You know, when I was in sales at Dan Cummins Chevrolet and Buick in Paris, Kentucky, when I was on the sales floor, I aspired to be a sales manager, which ultimately, as you know, I was able to move from sales and from sales up to general sales manager and ultimately the GM of the dealership there. But when I was in sales, it was really important to me that I get that promotion. So I was doing all of the things that you're supposed to do, right? Top performer, selling lots of cars, doing lots of extras, adding value where I could, helping them look at things a little bit different way. And luckily had an incredible owner, Josh Cummins, and his brother Dusty, that allowed me a lot of flexibility to be able to help create, right, and to help grow the place. Incredibly grateful for that. But when I was in that position, I wanted to be a sales manager. And I got information that they were looking to hire one and that I wasn't on the list. My name wasn't on the list of potential sales managers. And so I sat and I thought, okay, well, what can I do about that, right? And so I thought, well, maybe they need to see my resume. I had been in GSM before. I had been a finance manager before, sales manager before. And so I thought, well, maybe that would be the ticket. If I could just put together a resume and let them know why I'm the right guy for the position, that I might get an opportunity that I might otherwise get skipped over on, right? And so I sat down and I wrote this resume. But I did something a little bit unique and a little bit different. As I was writing the resume, I started really thinking about what matters to Josh? What's going through his head? And I started thinking about Dusty. What matters most to Dusty? What's going through his head? And as I was going through this thought process, I ultimately decided that I needed to walk a mile in their shoes so that I could see what they see and ultimately create a win-win situation for them and for me. And so I did. I started thinking about what Josh likes. What does he care about? What are the things that motivate and move him? And one of the things that Josh cares about, he's got a samurai sword that he got as a gift in his office, and he kind of has this thing where he's like, he's a ninja. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a superhero. And so I knew that about him, and I also knew that he lived with a foreign exchange student in Spain, and the foreign exchange student lived with them here in Kentucky. They had built a really strong bond and relationship, and he loved to visit his buddy from high school who owned a hotel and everything in Spain, right? So I knew these things about him. I knew he liked to go to Spain, but he could only go like once every 3 years. So I knew he cared about that, kind of the ninja dude. And then when it came to Dusty, I knew that the most important thing to Dusty, he was a fitness guy, big time fitness guy. But also what was really important to him was he had adopted some kids from Guatemala. And that was something he was really passionate about, raising those kids in the right way. And obviously he had this heart for saving these young children. So what I did is, instead of just turning in a regular resume, right, that says, hey, yeah, I was in sales, I was a finance manager, I was a sales manager, I was a general sales manager. Instead of just doing that, I did list out all of those items, but I listed them out in a very unique way. For example, when it came to being a sales manager, I said, hey, Josh, I'm a ninja on the desk. I'm a ninja on the desk, bro. You put me in the spot, I can do all of the things. I'll be like a superhero of sales managers. And when I do so well on the desk, what's going to end up happening is, bro, you're going to get to go to Spain anytime you want. You're going to be able to leave the dealership, go to Spain, participate in that, see your buddy, so on and so forth. I went a little bit further and I said, Dusty, If you put me on the desk, I'll do 100 push-ups a day, every single day, right? Because I knew he was in fitness. And I also said, we're going to create a situation where you're going to have so much money and so much time and so much freedom that you're going to be able to adopt as many babies from Guatemala or wherever else in the world you want to adopt them. After turning in that resume and spending some time in close proximity to both of the owners, really trying to serve them from their mindset, not mine, what they found valuable, not what I found valuable. And ultimately, by doing that, I was able to get the position of sales manager at that dealership. So yeah, it was a little crazy on the resume. I made sure to kind of really tell a story, embellish the stories a little bit, not lying or anything like that, not about the facts of what I've done, but just the way I told the story ultimately fed into their personalities. I put myself in their shoes. And that's what I want to talk to you about today as you're growing your dealerships. We're continuing to build momentum. We're dealing with all of these things that we have to deal with. I think it's really important that we take a good look at what does that really mean to put yourself in another man's shoes. So I did some research, I look it up, and here's the definition of putting yourself in someone else's shoes. It says, to make an effort to imagine how you would feel or act if you were in the same situation as a particular person. There's a sentence here that says, you should be kinder when considering others and put yourself in their shoes every once in a while. I love this definition, to make an effort, right? The word effort alone requires you to be proactive about it. It's not a reactive thing where you just get forced into another person's shoes, but where you actually take the time proactively to do so. I also like how it says to imagine. The key word here is to imagine how you would feel or act if you were in the same situation. Now, when we do that, when we activate the imagination, but we activate it from a different perspective, not from our perspective, from their perspective, it actually ends up becoming something called empathy. You see, the word empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at your employees, right? Take a look at your employees and just take a second to kind of flip through each one. Think about your top performer. Think about your top performer, and I want you to imagine for a second if you were in their shoes, in your role, or in their role in the dealership, how would you look to them? Your actions, your words, the things that you do. I want you to take a look at your accountant for a second and put yourself in your accountant's shoes. I mean, I think about the accountants all the time. They see these big checks that come through for the salespeople, for the sales managers, for the GMs, and they're making their salary or whatever it is that they make, which typically might be comparable to a salesperson, but typically is a little bit less than the checks that they're seeing going through. So what does that feel like? And how do we make sure that they don't feel less than in that particular situation? Now, as you put yourself in each of their shoes, I want you to think about the things that you know motivate them. Now, usually we have our standard motivating factors, right? Like, of course, money can be a motivator, right? Profits are very motivating for a lot of people, not all people, but for a lot of people. Also, family and legacy, being able to create an environment where they can make an impact on the next generation, that too can be really impactful for a lot of different people. But what else? What else could possibly be on the minds of your employees? So we're going to continue to talk about this word called empathy and how you can and should lead with it. But before we go any further, what I want to do is I want to show you a video that I made a few years ago when I was the general manager over at Dan Cummins Chevrolet. I used to do this show called In the Beginning, an inspirational way to start your day. It was basically the beginnings of Rise and Grind. This is far before Rise and Grind, but it definitely fed into it. And in this video, it'll let you see the world through my eyes when I was in that position and the things that matter to me. I hope you enjoy.
I try my best to avoid sleep at all costs. You see, sleep is so unproductive. I can't get anything done while I'm sleeping. A lot of people use sleep for dreams. I prefer to step out and live my dreams.
So, it is a 4:50. Just got up. No alarm clock, of course. But yeah, just got up. I got a lot of stuff to do this morning before the kids get up. So, figured I'd get up a little bit early and knock some of that stuff out. Awesome. Got to make sure that everything's in tune musically. So here's what I typically do. Hop in here. Basically it pops up, all these recommendations based on what I normally watch, which as you can see is I listen to motivational music and I watch motivational videos. So today we're going to go, I try not to go with stuff with words first thing in the morning. I prefer just like instrumental, just get the music, just get the music right. Let's go with it. Best of epic soundtracks. That sounds pretty good.
Each day as I rise, I make sure to thank God for all the things that I'm thankful for. Once the mind's right, then it's time to start putting things into action. I set goals, where I want to be by the end of the day, the week, the month, the year. Plans for the future, with my family, with my career, with my friends, with myself. Once I get rolling, there's no stopping me. I'm out on the course or I'm in the gym, I've got the music bumping, headphones are on, I'm ready to take on the day. Usually by the time you wake up, I'm already 3 hours ahead of you. You're gonna have a really hard time catching me. I've got that fresh start. I pull into work and I just can't wait. Can't wait to attack. Can't wait to see what we can do next, what I can create, how I can make a difference in people's lives with a smile, with a handshake, with a car. I make sure that all of my employees are happy and encouraged and well taken care of. We don't allow any negativity around here. It's just simply not allowed. We understand that we're all on a mission. We're on a mission to achieve our individual goals. We're on a mission to achieve our collective goals. And ultimately, we're on a mission to make a difference in this industry that has gotten such a negative stigma associated with it. And so it's our job every day. I don't take days off. We're closed on Sunday. Sunday's when I get to hang with the family. Sunday's when I get to relax. Sunday's when I get to tune out. God made the world in 6 days, or made everything in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested, so I'm okay with that. Those other 6 days though, I grind. From morning till night, I grind. It matters. Everything that I'm doing, I realize now, I understand. I didn't used to, but I understand now that it matters. There's so many people that are counting on me. They're counting on my success, my creativity. They're counting on me to follow through with the things that I say I'm gonna do. I've got people in this building that I've brought in, friends and family members that I've hired, that I've given opportunities to, and I know that they've got families, they've got kids to take care of, they've got dreams to fulfill. And so it's my job to make sure they have every single opportunity to do that. People are looking to me for guidance. They look to me for leadership. They want me to help show them the way because they know that I've struggled. They know my past. They know who I am. I'm completely transparent in everything that I say and everything that I do because I want people to understand that just because you're down doesn't mean you're out. Mr. Les Brown said himself, if you can look up, you can get up. That's the philosophy I live by and that I want to share with everyone. Kindness, love, understanding. These are all things we practice every day, things that I train on, things that I try to share with outside vendors, people that come into our dealership and they say, how do you do these things? How are you achieving such massive levels of success? And I tell them it's easy. You just got to put yourself in the customer's shoes. Put yourself in that person's shoes and just treat them the way you would want to be treated. It's all biblical. It's in the Bible. You can read it. You've heard it before. You just got to take the action and do it. My creative team here at Dan Cummins is just incredible. Brandon and I have been putting videos together for years now. There's so much fun to be able to just come up with an idea, with a concept, and scratch it out real quick. Sometimes we don't even write it down. We just grab the camera and we go and we produce such fun content. We're trying to build fans. We're trying to give people an inside look on something that's incredible. This dealership has grown from 120 cars a month to 850 cars a month, and it's grown strictly and specifically because of the people that we hire and the creativity that we encourage. We have so much fun. Some people have asked me how I got here. I got to this point where we've been able to experience these levels of success, and it's simple, really. It's just a formula. You've gotta wake up early. You gotta get up. Get out of bed. You got to have an attitude of gratitude. Write down what you're thankful for. Write down your goals. Set up a plan. Set up a mission. When you go out, try to leave people with a sense that they have gained by having an interaction with you. Make sure you're in touch with your faith. Make sure you're in touch with your body. Be healthy. And just make sure that every day you're giving it all you got.
So ultimately, I'm blessed. Incredibly blessed, actually. I've got two families. I got a family at home with my 5 beautiful kids and my gorgeous wife that I love. I get to spend 7 nights a week with them anyway, in a couple days. And then I got my guys here. This is family number 2. I get to spend days and hours and just time with these guys that I love, my friends, my family. We're all on this mission. It's incredible. We're all on the same page. We're all chasing the same dream. We've all come through it all together. We've seen this place grow from where it was to where it is today. People ask me all the time, you sleep 4.5 hours a night. How can you sleep 4.5 hours a night? And it's really simple. A day in my life is just filled with blessings. From the moment I wake up in the morning till the moment I get home. I mean, when I lay down and put my head on that pillow, I just can't wait for the next day to start. I really can't. The kisses I get from my kids, the handshakes and hugs I get from these guys, why would you want to sleep? Forget sleep, man. We can all sleep when we're dead. Now listen, I know that you all have a lot going on in this season. No doubt about it, right? You own a store, you're running a store, maybe multiple stores. The phones are blowing up like crazy all day long. Your phone is blowing up. You've got heat cases that you have to deal with. There's personnel issues that you're dealing with all the time. You've got friends that want to buy cars. You got to make sure that they get taken care of. There's vendors that you have to consider. You have to vet different things. There's new technologies that are coming out. You have the weight and the pressure, some of you, right? The weight and the pressure of being a legacy dealer, carrying on the family name. You've got that on you. And then now to top it all off, you've got Lithia that just bought 49 more dealerships in the month of July, right? They bought 49 stores. You've got the Teslas, you've got the Carvanas, the Googles, the Amazons, you've got electric cars, you've got work from home options, you've got digital retailing that you've got to consider, right? You've got all of these things on top of inventory, real estate. Do you sell? Do you not sell? How are you going to handle the floor plans, right? All of the different incentive changes. You've got no cars, but yet you're making lots of money, and there's chaos, and there's COVID, and there's events, and there's mergers, and it's like, there's so many things that you have to navigate every single day. And sometimes it can be scary, man. Like, you're not just an owner or GM, you're a human. And I totally get that. I've been in your shoes. I've walked your walk. But what I'm hoping to help you capture right now is that all of your people are going through all of those things as well. Their phones might be blowing up for different reasons, but they're blowing up. They might not have the heat cases that you have, but they've got heat cases. Maybe it's at home with a family member or with a friend. Maybe it's a customer you don't even know about yet. They've definitely got personal issues across the board because they're dealing with all of these experiences in the world today as well. They've got bills that they have to pay. They've got their minds that are being shifted with negativity and different things that are going on, concern, worry. They too have friends that are reaching out looking to buy cars that they want to make sure to take care of. They even have some friends that they didn't take care of and bought a car somewhere else, right? Like, they've got a lot that they're dealing with on their plate as well. When you choose to bring in a new vendor, they're having to learn new processes. They're having to learn new systems. They have this weight and pressure of the fact that they could ultimately be fired on any given day. They could be fired. They could be without a job tomorrow. And if you think they don't feel the pressure of Lithia buying up all of these cars and the pressure of Tesla coming and Carvana and Google and Amazon, if you don't think they're experiencing that with you, you've lost your mind. And what do you think that they feel about this whole EV thing? They've been selling gas cars for a long time. They've learned them a certain way, and now all of that's starting to change. It looks different. It's uncomfortable. They've got the pressures of, should I be working at home or should I be in this environment based on what the news is saying, based on, this and that. My family, I got family members, my wife, my spouse, she's scared, she's worried. The whole digital retailing thing, they're like, man, I see this going on over here. Our store's doing a little bit different. It's not quite what I thought it should be, right? But I don't know. Basically, my fate is in their hands in a lot of ways. There's no inventory out there, but I'm supposed to sell cars. The real estate market's crazy. So do I sell my house? Should I buy my house? Like, I don't know what to do, right? Sell, don't sell, buy, don't die, or don't buy. Like, it's chaos out there, right? And in the midst of all the chaos, I'm making a bunch of money somehow. I don't really understand how, but I'm making money even though we don't have cars and we're making bigger grosses. But how long is that going to last? My paycheck's been great for a while, but when's that going to change? And I bought the Razor, and I bought the Sony PlayStation 5 and many other things. I'm not necessarily sure I'm in a financial position if we do start to take a dip. I'm kind of liking the money that I'm making now. They've got to make decisions about COVID, decisions about the different events that they want to attend. They've got to be the recipients of whatever decisions ultimately you make. And so all of a sudden they hit this point where they're like, which way do I go? What do I do? And it's scary, right? You see, they're human, just like you. And I think sometimes we can get a little bit away from that. They're my employees. They're the salesperson. They're the this. They're the that. They're my managers. They should do what I tell them to do, so on and so forth, right? And I get it, man. I get it. You put them in a position. You gave them an opportunity. Yeah, they should be doing the things that you're asking them to do. But the real question is, how can we take your leadership to the next level using the power of empathy? Now, see, with empathy, what's really important about it is, as I'm asking you to empathize with your people and to walk a mile in their shoes, I'm asking you to understand their position and express that you understand their position, but ultimately do it without coming off selfishly. You see, empathy is a selfless thing. Empathy is you pouring into having conversations, truly being concerned about their position and what they have going on in their world. Not so that it can benefit you, but ultimately to benefit them. So how can we do that? How can we become a better leader? How can we become the solution to all of these ailments that they have? Now, see, what you might be thinking is, oh, that's easy. I care about my people. But see, there's something that you've forgotten. One thing that you've forgotten is that your position, or maybe you didn't even realize this, you have to think about how they see you. You see yourself this certain way, you're given opportunities, you're slick, you got your money, you put in your 20 years, right? You've earned your spot, right? But how do they see you? And I'm going to tell you one way that they see you right now. When you come to people and you offer to help, or you're looking to help, you suggest things that they should do. If you don't do it the right way, here's what ends up happening. We as human beings don't want to be wrong. We're totally okay with you being right. We just don't want to be wrong, right? I don't want to prove that you are wrong. I just want to prove that I am not wrong. And see, when you come to me and you tell me I'm doing something wrong, that makes me feel like an idiot. Makes it feel like I've been wasting money. I missed out on opportunities. Makes me feel like this thing that I believed in, this system, this habit, this behavior, it makes me feel as though I'm wrong. And humans don't want to be wrong. I just want to prove that I'm not wrong. And so you're in this tough position, right? Like, I'm okay with you being right. I just don't want to be wrong. And so a lot of times people won't receive your help. And I'm sure you've banged your head against the wall like I've told them 1,000 times. This is the way that I did it, and it worked. I'm successful. Look at me. Do what I do, and you'll get the same result, right? Doesn't that make sense? And they're going, but then I would be wrong. And yes, I want you to be right, but I don't want to be wrong. So it's a tough spot for you because you can help them, but they don't want you to. And the only way to break through that, the path through that, is empathy. That's the path. When we put ourselves in their shoes and see it from their perspective, it creates opportunities for us to break through and really truly help. Now, there's this book. We've talked about it in this group before. We've done some training on it. This book is exactly what to say, the magic words for influence and impact. If you haven't read it yet, go get a copy. This book right here breaks down like 29 different sentences that psychologically trigger people in a certain way that allow you to have more influence and more impact in their life. Now, I'm going to break down 5 of these sentences for you so you can just get a taste. If you haven't read the book, go back. Even if you've read it before, read it differently. Like, it's not a book that you read cover to cover. It's a book that you read one of the sentences and then you use that. You use that sentence all day that day. Use that sentence every day for a week so you cement it into your brain, right? Create those neural pathways. then move to the next one. Might take you 29 weeks to read the book, but each little segment's going to be 4 minutes to read it or whatever, 10 minutes, right? It's not going to take long. So I'm going to share with you 5 that I think apply to this particular situation that we're talking about here today. Hopefully you'll find them helpful and you'll be able to apply them in your store and have better breakthroughs and make better impact as leaders, because I know that matters to you. So the very first one is these exact words. Now, what you have to understand, the title is exactly what to say. The title isn't, you should say something similar to this. The title isn't, mix this word around, mix that word around, say it a way that fits you. No, these are scientifically, psychologically proven. The words are, the first sentence is, I'm not sure if this is for you, but. Now, see, as soon as you go into I'm not sure if this is for you, but it does a couple things. When you say, I'm not sure if this is for you, it triggers me psychologically to say, well, what is it? Maybe it is for me. Who are you to tell me that this isn't for me? Are you kidding me? Right? It triggers that. So now all of a sudden I'm intrigued. Now all of a sudden I want to listen. Right? Now all of a sudden I want to lean in. So when you come at me and you say, I'm not sure if this is for you, but when I was in your position, I logged my customer this way. When I was in your position, I did a walk around this way. When I was in your position, I desked a deal this way. Now, I'm not sure if it's for you, but so you're allowing them grace to where they don't have to be wrong with the way they've been doing it. But ultimately, you could possibly be right. And I'm okay with you being right as long as I'm not wrong. So by saying, I'm not sure if this is for you, you're saying, okay, you're not pushing it down my throat. You're not saying it is the only way and that you are the God of all. You're not saying that. You're just saying, hey, I'm going to throw this out here for you. I'm not sure if it's for you. Maybe it's for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you, right? And now I'm definitely more apt to listen to your advice and ultimately apply it. Great, right? It's great. The second sentence, how open-minded are you to? So the psychology behind this particular sentence is really powerful. You see, all humans want to believe that they are open-minded. Nobody ever says, you know what? Nope, I am not open-minded at all. I actually prefer to be incredibly stubborn. I have no desire whatsoever to have an open mind to new ideas, to things that can grow me, to be creative. Nope, I'm a stubborn, stuck on a bump on a log. Nobody ever says that, right? So when you say, how open-minded are you? It immediately triggers, well, yeah, I'm open-minded. Of course I'm open-minded. Why? What is it that you got for me? Right? So you can take a closed-minded individual and you can lead off with how open-minded are you and trigger the defense mechanism that wants them to be very open-minded, even if they're not usually, which opens the door, which allows you to plant the seed of whatever area of development you have laid out for them. See, this is empathy, friends. You notice that the first sentence has the word you in it. If you notice, the second sentence has the word you in it. You see, we're turning the conversation to where it's not about us and what we believe to be right and to be true, but we're turning the conversation around to where it's about them. It's about you. How open-minded are you? Right? That's empathy. Putting ourselves in their shoes, making it about them and seeing things from their perspective, not about us and our perspective. The third sentence I want to share with you is just imagine. Now, just imagine is the adult equivalent to once upon a time. So when I say the words once upon a time, it automatically triggers something in each of you. It triggers this idea of knights and fairies and magical wonderlands, right? Once upon a time in a land far, far away. And it triggers this story in your imagination that you ultimately put together based on the movies that you watched when you were a kid, the story tales, the books, the so on and so forth. And every once upon a time story ends the same way. You know what it is? I bet you do. Happily ever after. That's how it ends. Every single time, right? Once upon a time, happily ever after. So when we use the words just imagine, it is the equivalent to saying once upon a time. So we go up to our salesperson or our manager and we say, hey, Bob, just imagine what it's going to be like. Just imagine what it's going to be like when your paycheck's blank, blank, blank. Just imagine what it's going to be like when we sell blank, blank, blank. Just imagine what it's going to be like when we get another store and we create more opportunities. Just imagine and we plant the seed, right? And then their imagination takes it from there. And there's nothing more powerful than the human imagination. And so as we plant these seeds of just imagine, we can now integrate some areas of development that we might have for that particular person. We can go up and say, hey, Kevin, just imagine what it's going to be like when all of your salespeople are filling out every single line every time on their paperwork. Just imagine what it's going to be like when the accounting office doesn't have anything to complain about because everything's always perfect and tight on your CITs, right? We can use the just imagine to plant the seed of growth, the area of opportunity, and the area of development. Versus saying, hey, dude, you need to get your paperwork all tightened up. You got to get the salespeople doing every line every time. No, instead, we see, dude, just imagine what it'll be like when it happens, when that occurs. And now it's a shift. I'm not wrong. You're not making me wrong about the area of development. You're showing me the possibilities. That's empathy. Empathy will make you a better leader. And it's really just simple word tracks used in an effective way to make it about them and not about you. The fourth one is most people. Now, as you know, us as human beings, we won't even download an app unless it's got 4-star reviewed by 500 people, right? There's something inherently in all of us as humans where we want to go ahead and agree with the pack. Well, if most people are doing it, it might be okay, right? If most people say it's good, then it'll probably be good for me, right? If most people who went on that path got to a certain ending, most likely I will get on that same path to the same ending. Most people makes things safe. It makes change safe. It makes growth, development, new ideas, new projects. It makes all of those things safe when we can lead out with most people. So for example, if we're adding a new department or we're adding a new system or we're adding a new process, instead of going in and saying, here's the new process, you need to learn it and implement it, we can go in and say, hey, John, you know, most people that have been really successful as of recent, this is what they've been buying at the auction. Most people that I've been talking to in my circles, in my 800% Club group, most of those peoples have said that the drive-centric CRM is really, really powerful, and maybe we should take a look. Most people makes it safe. Hey, we're changing CRMs. You're going to have to learn the new one. What? A, I don't want to learn the new one. B, you're telling me the one that I already know that I'm a master on sucks. Well, screw you for that because I spent 4 years of my life working on it, right? And just because you want to change, why do I got to change? Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? It's very, very important that you watch your words. It's called empathy. Putting yourself in their shoes, making it about them, not about you. When we make it about them sincerely, here's the word, don't fake this. When you make it about them sincerely, use the words that activate them psychologically. Now we can get movement. Now we can get buy-in. Now we can get growth. Make sense? The last sentence I'm going to share with you is, what makes you say that? Now, as you notice here in this sentence is the word you, once again. And the time that we can apply and use this is if one of your employees comes up to you, there's a disagreement, there's a disturbance, there's or they're even doing an action further. They're giving you a response that doesn't fit, right? They say, we're trying to get to 10 days on CIT. And they say, oh, well, we can't get to 10 days to CIT, the paperwork, the whatever, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. So instead of just saying, yes, you can, and here's what we need to do, you say, well, what makes you say that? I'm sorry? What makes you say that? Oh, well, based on my experience and what I was looking at, it's just impossible for us to ultimately get there. Oh, okay. All right, Trevor, I totally get that. But you know what, Trevor? Most people in that position that I know have been able to ultimately get to under 10 days on the CIT. And just imagine what that's going to look like when you don't have to deal with A, B, C, D. You see what I'm saying? It's not defensive. They don't have to defend at that time. We've given them an opportunity. So when we say, what makes you say that, versus just taking what they say at face value, if it's different than the result that we want, instead of just automatically arguing or making them wrong, because I don't remember if you remember, but I just want to prove that I'm not wrong. I don't want to prove that you are wrong. I don't care if you are right. I just want to prove that I am not wrong. So by allowing us to increase the dialogue, by you asking me, well, what makes you say that? We can now go into some of these other empathic sentences to be able to create change, influence, and impact. It's all about asking them questions. It's all about asking them questions. They come up to you, they say, hey, Stacy, we've got this customer out here. They bought 3 cars before. They're just outside of warranty. What do you think that I should do? Instead of just telling them what to do, Stacy, what you should say is, well, what do you think? What do you think we should do? Well, I think that ultimately, because they've been here with us a few years, but they are out of mileage and the guy's kind of a jerk, I don't think we should do it. And if you don't like that answer, Stacy, you then say, well, what makes you say that? Well, what do you mean? What makes me say that? They're a little bit out of warranty and they're kind of a jerk. Okay, well, what makes you say that? What makes them kind of a jerk? And see, by simply asking questions, we start to empower them to make their own decisions, to think through them, to not tell you what they think you want to hear, but to ultimately become independent. Listen, I got to get you out of these roles of solving everything in the dealership. And the only way that you can get out of that role of solving everything in the dealership is to influence and impact your people, to make them feel as though they have a role in the future success of themselves as well as the team. You see, all of this comes through empathy, walking a mile in another man's shoes. I asked I asked all of you, actually, dealers, to share with me why you want the store to be successful. And here's one of the ones that I read that was good. It said, I will never forget when I was selling cars in 2008. The store was selling 30 cars a month and store-wide had 21 total employees. I was here every moment to watch the store climb out of that hole and start to shake into what it is today. We are nowhere close to being done building, but what I love the most is the lives we impact every day. Healthy culture leads to employees thriving. Hearing from spouses consistently how much better off their families are because of the employee happiness at work. It is so rewarding knowing we have built something that can now affect 109 employees rather than the 21 it used to be. On top of that, the amazing effect we hopefully have on our customers' lives by providing solutions and service they will not receive elsewhere. The game of being number one in town is fun, the money is great, but changing as many lives that grace our doors every day is beyond rewarding. It's life-changing. It drives me every day. That's an empathic leader. And that empathic leader is getting incredible results, unlike any other store really I know of in the country, as far as their gross per copy, their ability to scale, and the culture in their dealership. Learn to be an empathic leader. Use the right words, walk in their shoes, and make it about them. If you got any questions on this, we'll talk about it in the Q&A sessions, right? We can talk about it there. Live Q&A sessions Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 o'clock. Make sure you're welcome to attend either one or both. Whatever you need, I'm here to serve you. I love you. I hope you're killing it. And take care. I'll see you again next week.